Hey train friends, welcome back to the layout. I'm here with Zelda and an awesome review today of the new Lionel Legacy Veranda in the US Department of Defense paint scheme. And it's going to come down the tracks with its teeth out at you. And it's going to siren and horn and blow its whistle and make you bark. Maybe. This thing is awesome. I was so excited to get this thing. When I saw that in the catalog, I was like, man, I gotta have that. It's going to be pulling my long military train today. We're going to see how much brute force power that thing's got. It's awesome. So thanks for watching today. Let's get to it.
The Union Pacific's gas turbine electric locomotive, otherwise known as the GTELs, were operated between 1952 and 1970 by the Union Pacific using bunker seat fuel. A total of 55 units were produced, and the turbine, rather an internal combustion diesel engine, drove an alternator generator to supply electricity to the electric motors mounted on the axles. The first turbine, number 50, was built by Alco GE in 1948 and was tested by the Union Pacific. It was then later succeeded by Gen 2, Veranda, and then the third generation, which increased the horsepower to 8,500. The locomotives had a tremendous noise and they were nicknamed the Big Blows. These huge locomotives, with their big appetite for fuel oil, eventually fell victim to the more efficient diesels, and in 1970 the turbines ran their last miles. There are two surviving examples of these locomotives, number 18 at the Illinois Railway Museum, and number 26 and 26B are displayed at Union Station in Ogden, Utah. Lionel's Veranda was cataloged in the 2021 Volume 1 catalog. It included choices of the prototypical looking Union Pacific Railroad, and then a lot of what-if paint schemes, such as the Alaska, the Pennsylvania, the Great Northern, the Rio Grande, and a Greyhound UP, a Southern Pacific, and then, of course, the U.S. Department of Defense paint scheme, which is the one I chose, and it is awesome. The Verandas started showing up at dealers in late January 2022. Okay, so now we're going to go over some of the features and details of this beautiful locomotive. First and foremost, the first thing you notice is the mean and awesome looking paint job on this thing. Look at the front end with those teeth coming out and the eyes. It is just super cool. These are all die-cast metal models. The engine is die-cast and the tender is die-cast. We'll go. All right, so looking at the front of the locomotive, which is the best part of it, is the first thing we'll talk about. Obviously, electrocoupler, just like all Lionel legacy engines have. This pilot is all die-cast. The details are molded in, which is okay, and it still looks great. The cool thing up here is there's safety tread on top of this pilot, which is really neat. And of course, this graphic with the mouth and the teeth is just really cool. The other neat thing is that Lionel chose to do was black out the number boards. Kind of adds to the great look, and then it has like these eye decals here. And then when the engine's in reverse, the red marker lights come on, and it just makes it look really mean. The other cool thing about the front of this locomotive is it is equipped with a Mars light, and then right below it are two separate little headlights down here. This nose piece being painted black looks really good. The horn details up here are separately applied, really nice. And the cab of this thing is actually really cool. It has 3 engineer figures and a pretty well detailed interior on this model. Before I forget to say that, actually, you know, this model actually feels like a Vision line engine. And the reason why I say that is because it's all die-cast, and the dual smoke and the dual sounds coming out of the locomotive and the tender just gives it that Vision line feel. I think that if this had like maybe one extra little feature, Lionel probably could have marketed this thing as a Vision line engine.
Here's a better view of the side of the cab. You can see right inside where there's 3 engineer figures. The LED light is on for this view. It was glaring in the last one. And the back side of the cab, you can see inside of there a little bit where there's details on that back wall. It's really great looking. Also, our red marker lights are on for this view. And of course, the really cool looking Bluebell decal right underneath the window. There's a lot of molded in pieces here, like vents and doors and things, and they look great. The cool thing about the side of this locomotive is how the walkway is kind of like covered by this top part, and there's a lot of molded in details in here as well. We'll go over that shortly. But looking down at the trucks, there are 4 trucks on this locomotive, painted silver, and they look great and they're really well detailed. All right, looking at the side of the locomotive, you can see there's a lot of details down here. There's molded in pieces. This actually is a metal section that houses the speaker under the engine as well. There's these nice ladders that come off the trucks and lead up to these grab irons on your walkway. And then, of course, you have this great looking U.S. Army decal. It's very reminiscent of actually the U.S. Air Force with the white star and the blue circle around it. All right, so looking toward the back of the locomotive, we have this great looking 1941 decal, which is the year the United States entered into World War II. And then this nice little tinted black window right there. There is a door that's right over here on this walkway, and there's another one on the other side of the walkway too. These do not open. They're molded in, but that adds to the details as well. And of course, there's these other doors that are molded in as well, and they look great. And looking down at the top of the locomotive, you can see there are a lot of great details going on here. There's this nice box up here, metal piping, a lot of molded in details. And then right here you have one of the smoke units. This one is for the turbine engine. This is the cover that lifts off that has all of your run and program and sound features underneath. You can independently change the sounds on this locomotive and have the crew talk speak out of the engine or the tender. I think it's best to have the crew talk coming out of the locomotive. It sounds more prototypical. And then you have your sounds that come out of the tender, but we'll talk about that shortly. And right here you can see a lot of other great molded in details. This piping leading back to our rear smoke unit, which is for the diesel generator. At low speeds, just the diesel generator is on. You enter smoke fluid right here. And then whenever the locomotive reaches a little bit of a higher speed, you'll see the turbine engine turn on, and then this smoke unit starts to plume a big cloud of smoke coming out of it. It's really cool. And here is the top piece that removes off. It's held on by magnets, and this is actually metal as well. And as you can see, here are all your run and program switches for the locomotive. You can turn the coupler on and off right here on the bottom. And you can have your smoke units on and off. It's all controlled right from there. And this just sets back on like so, held in by the magnets. All right, so looking at the back of the locomotive, you can see there is a lot of great detail going on. And there's a nice door here with a round window in it, a ladder, the grab irons, and the brake wheel, this little metal chain. You have your electrocoupler down here, and then when you put the locomotive in reverse, the rear light comes on, just like so. And here is the amazing tender, and why I'm calling it amazing is because it has a lot of great detailing, and it has a super bass sound unit inside of it. It's basically almost like its own locomotive without a motor inside. So let's talk about this paint job. First of all, it's very reminiscent of the U.S. Air Force and the way they would put 5 digits on the tail wings of their fighter jets. And of course, then you have the white and blue stripes, which look great, and they do wrap all the way around the back of the tender, which looks awesome. There's a lot of great detailing going on with the trucks and on the bottom, where there's little piping going on and everything, and there's little step ladders. And then on the top, there's this nice walkway with the metal grab irons, and it's really highly detailed, and it looks great. Here's the underside of the tender. You can see right here, there's all your switches for your sound features and the coupler. You can turn off the crew dialogue, which I've done here, and it's in the off position. That way you don't get sound coming from the crew, from the locomotive, and the tender at the same time.
but it's really great. It's controlled with the legacy system, and you program it as the same ID as the locomotive, and it plays its sound, and the tender knows how fast it's going by a little magnet on this set of wheels right here. And looking at the back of the tender, you can see how I was mentioning these blue and white stripes continue all the way around, and they look awesome. There's these great ladders that go up to the top walkway. You have your electrocoupler that fires on the back, and when you put the locomotive in reverse, the rear headlight comes on, like so.
All right, Zelda, are you ready for the whistle test? We're going to do horn number 1. How about horn number 2? No reaction. How about horn number 3? And how about horn number 4? What about horn number 5, Zelda? Ready for horn number 5? You're yawning. Let's try horn number 5. Oh, more like siren. Uh-oh. What is that? Come here, Zelda. Come here. Awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which whistle you like the best, or siren for that matter.
Dispatcher here. Start her up. Stand by for track orders. Over. Yes, sir. We'll fire her up. Now. Dispatcher, error is made. Brake test complete. Are we clear to pull? Over. Cleared on Turbine. Out. Measure A, Magina. Cleared by about a car length. Right, Patty? Clear him. Got a lot of tugs today. Better bunch in some slack before we start out. Measure A, Magina. Cleared by about a car length. Right, Patty? Clear him. Switchless says we've got 1 off and 3 on at the head end. What are your orders? It says hold here for 2 east and then take the main to the next interlock. Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over. You're good to go. Dispatcher out.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the U.S. Department of Defense Veranda. Let me just tell you, this is an awesome engine with a great paint job, a great sound set, and it's very well built, being all die-cast. Thanks also to my new subscribers. I couldn't do it without you guys. My name's Nick. Thanks for watching PGH Train Fanatic. Have a great day.